Swing it, boys, swing for the fence. Shove it, boys, make 'em miss. Some big league chew and a baseball souvenir. Come on, sing with me now. The Joe is home, sweet home. It's roll, tide, roll. The Joe is home, that's right. Home, sweet home. Hey, look, is that Roll Tide Willie over there? Blitz, Bama, Blitz.
Good evening, everyone. It's a very special edition of the Weekly Joe podcast. We are the longest running and best podcast devoted specifically to Alabama baseball, and this is probably our biggest week ever in the 3 years we've been doing this. It's Super Regional time, and here we are. We've got tonight Drew Champlin. We've got Roger Myers. We've got Griff and Smith. You got me, your host, Paul Graham. We're going to talk all about the weekend that was in the Tuscaloosa Regional. Quite an eventful weekend. A lot of fun. A lot of a little bit of tension and sweating through a couple of those games, particularly as it got to the end. And then we're going to talk about the opponent coming to town this weekend, the St. John's Red Storm, as I'm told they're called now. Who you know all from your years of following basketball in the Big East and those great teams of the 80s and into the 90s, and now a little bit of a resurgence. But you probably never thought about St. John's baseball. We're going to try to fill you in a little bit on St. John's, what you might expect, because they're in a super regional just like us, and they can certainly ruin our season with a handful of good innings this upcoming weekend. We thank Peter Slight and Campland for our theme song bringing us in. Thanks for performing that live tonight, guys. But at Super at the Joe for the first time since 2006, Alabama in a Super for the first time since 2023, not too long ago. We all remember that one fondly, at least for a few innings, and we don't remember a whole lot about Game 2 there. But we'll rehash 2006 as we are wont to do on this program and have done quite often. Little comparison maybe we'll have to make to the feel that Oklahoma State game had the other night of the Chad Flack game. I got a thought or two on that, and we'll talk about the other regionals around the country and what's coming up this weekend. Who we think we might encounter in Omaha should we be lucky enough to be standing Sunday late afternoon or TBA sometime Monday when this is all said and done. First of all, Drew Champlin here with us. Drew, your thoughts on the weekend that was?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. The Sunday game was probably one of the most intense Alabama baseball games I've ever been to, if not the most. Kind of thinking about the 97 super or regular regional championship, the Matt Frick homer that sent us to Omaha, which we actually got to walk that off of. But we had some pretty intense regular season games. The Troy regional game a couple years ago was similar, last at bat type deal where we were the visitor team and we had something happen in the last inning that put us ahead. But man, it was just crazy. I guess the biggest thing I can remember, not just Brady's home run, but just how it felt like we were left for dead, and Ethan Lund, their big lefty, and then Eric Hines. Man, it's like you're at home and you're about to fall asleep, and then someone bangs on the window and scares the piss out of you. And that's what that felt like to me. I'm still kind of shaking over that violent swing, and he hits it, and then there's still a lot of work to do, but just a really gutsy, heroic performance from the guys. A couple guys nearly had to cut off a digit on their fingers, and Hagen Banks was. I'm not going to say lights out because we put some runners on base, but he was just so gutsy there at the end, getting that strikeout and all that. So just that's going to be one of those games we remember for quite a while.
Yeah, Roger, the grit, determination. I mean, all the, we talk about the three. All of those were embodied this weekend, I think, right?
Yeah, they sure were, particularly that last game with Oklahoma State, but even with Upstate and that other the semifinal game, I guess, so to speak, it did the same thing. I mean, you get Johnny Lim with 9, loses a finger basically, and gets 4 hits in 2 games with with one and 4/5 of a hand, and just playing through the pain like that, and then I mean, goodness, Brady Neal dislocates the thumb, calls timeout, goes and pops it in place, comes and guns out a runner, and then hits, writ his name in crimson flame. And that will be, that will definitely be one of the biggest moments, in his career and definitely in his Alabama career. To always remember for, in 20 years when they're having a reunion, that'll be something that people will still be talking about.
Mhm.
And then by injuries for all these years, and then just came in and let it hang. I mean, he just really a gutsy performance. He said JJ came out there and said, "Man," he said, I know you've been out here a while, and it's a lot more pitches than you've thrown in a long time." He said, "But I just need you to keep pumping that fastball. We got to get these next couple outs." And he did somehow, but with a little, we still had a little drama, as you said. Like, I felt the Chad Plack thing that you did. That, oh the Lord, they're going to hit they got it. We're winning run was at the plate or on base. I said, this isn't going to. This has the chance to not end the way we want it to, but thankfully it did.
Yeah. Griff, your thoughts? I mean, like Roger said, a lot of kind of where what we'd call where legends are made moments just from that weekend. Some that we probably will etch in history, and just the your view of, you weren't there, but you got to see the broadcast and maybe get a better, bigger, broader view of it than we did.
Definitely, the crowd was into it. I not being there, it's hard to say. I mean, I believe you guys and Rob that always could want more people, and I think this weekend, I mean, we've already seen that various posts that the tickets are sold out at standing room only. Like, that's exactly the crowd that we need. But, you know, we definitely had our dicey moments. I think that it's, we'll probably talk about it. I think it's really dumb that we're the top seed, we're a top national seed, and yet we have one, home game, so to speak. I think that probably could be, viewed and adjusted, but it was gritty all weekend. They just did not quit, and I think that's kind of been the mantra all season, but especially at home. I mean, the Crimson Tide, outside of that one weekend against Arkansas, I mean, we've looked very, very good at home, and then I mean, it got started Friday night. It got started early, and it was a party. I mean, Tyler was doing his thing on the mound, and it's one thing to have one inning with 6 runs, but to do it twice and to just blow the doors off and set Alabama school records. It was a special weekend all around.
Yeah, yeah. The atmosphere to me, it was great. I mean, it was a great atmosphere. People complain, oh, the crowds weren't big enough. I mean, quit bitching about what you rip. I don't really want all these people around me. Do you? I mean, if I'm at the game, I want a little room. But no, it's great to have a big crowd. But the crowd that was there was certainly into it, and particularly on Sunday. I'm not Sunday night, Saturday night, I guess, which was probably the largest of the three. Maybe in my opinion, here's just a thought on this. Probably a little, it's a weekend where you got storms and whatnot. But I mean, Auburn had big crowds, and they had big crowds at other places that have weather. The draw wasn't great. I mean, honestly, when you get right down to it, I mean, Upstate wasn't bringing a crowd in. Oklahoma State had a handful of folks there. Alabama State, had a handful of folks there. So I think to me that might have had something to do with just the fact that, obviously the stakes are a lot higher this weekend, and I think the crowd will be there. But the atmosphere was great. I mean, there's no doubt about it. The students showed out. I guess I don't know if those folks are in here for summer school. Summer school's back now. But there were certainly big crowds out there, and they were raucous and really into it. And then, of course, you kick off the first game, and it's pretty much a walkover. The Upstate game was a little sleepy, but then got a little sneaky tight late, just because we did a lot of dumb things to keep that game tight. Namely making 6 errors and doing a bunch of dumb shit on the bases and whatnot. So, it was kind of that team is, like I said, I love this team. I just don't like them at times. And I really didn't like them that night. But that turned around the next night. I mean, your attitude toward them. So to me, again, maybe we lucked out a little bit. It was easy. It was maybe quote easy regional to get through. Now it helped that we didn't go lose to the 4 seed like say an Auburn did, and then have to come back and win 4 games in a row. You think we got tested enough over the weekend, Roger? You think there was enough there to wake the team up and make sure they don't come out listless this weekend?
I think so. I mean, the way this team's been, it's been so up and down, and you can count some of those wins as part of the down just for, the way you won. But they're to the point in the season now. You can't overlook anybody, and you have to play your best, the best you can every game. So I think they'll be good to go. They've looked good at practice, very engaged, and very loose but fired up. And I think they're taking it serious. Rob and his staff are pounding it in. It's like, St. John's is, don't look at the name, look at the team, look what they've done. Team started 1-10 in the season, and they're 36-24 now. So I mean, they've been on a roll definitely since their conference tournament, and through that regional. So I feel good about us, taking it seriously and doing what we need to do.
Yeah, yeah. So they are on an eight-game winning streak coming into the weekend. I mean, again, won 3 games. Drew definitely tested, certainly at Florida State. I mean, had to overcome a lot. Came back to win in all 3 games. You said you watched. I guess you watched either watched the replay or you actually watched the Florida State game. I saw bits and pieces. I was kind of doing the whole the wrap with the whip around thing or whatever. But your thoughts on what you saw of St. John's?
Yeah, they had a lot of rain over the weekend, and so they had to play their championship series on Monday. So if there had been an if necessary game, they would have played it late afternoon Monday. So they played Florida State. I think it was around 11 a.m. our time, and so hopefully my employer's not listening to this, but I did have it on the iPad next to the computer, and yeah, they're really tough to put away. Just very or yeah, you could they I guess Florida State kind of had some chances, but pitched well against them. I really think in that region, although Florida State didn't throw their ace Wes Mendez in game 1, they did lose the game 6-5, which is not that. I mean, it's a close game. I watched the end of that at our game. Got a double play to end it. So I kind of think if they had thrown Mendez in game 1, they'd probably win that 5-2, 6-1, or something like that. And then they probably win the regional in 3. So just kind of a case where they chanced it. Florida State did, and they didn't win, and it didn't work out for them. So yeah, St. John's just a tough team. I mean, I don't know anything about their game 1 pitcher. I know their game 2 pitcher, if it is Evan Chafee, who redshirted for us in 2023 and then transferred there, has been there 3 years. I went back and looked at Rogers' Twitter from his how he describes all the scrimmages over the last several years. And Chafee had a lot of lefty, about 6'2", skinny. Had a hard time throwing strikes. Just a lot of walks. Roger can probably speak to this more than me, but just I don't know what he's like now, but it's going to be. I imagine he will pitch game 2 for them.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like it based on the way their season went. Liam O'Leary and Evan Chafee are their top 2 guys. He's one of those guys who was a great athlete, great basketball player. He and T-Fay were best friends in that freshman year, so they've kept up with each other, and they both ascended very well since that freshman year when they both were redshirted. So that's I would assume they won't match up against each other, but I'm sure they'll be glad to see each other, and hopefully Evan will have a good enough outing, but be on the losing end. So
yeah. Griff, did you see things this weekend? I know I certainly did. That like we talked about last week, what concerns you going into the weekend? I mean, what concerned you about this past weekend that might get you beat this weekend? Although the opposition is probably not much different than last weekend.
Yeah, I mean it's unfortunate what we've said all season is defensive miscues. Putting up 6 is not ideal. We obviously avoided it, so it wasn't wasn't the end all be all. We had another lovely reset of our pitch com, before miles start, which was, it's always a roller coaster with that. So I'll take that just as something fun. But yeah, I think, the defense still, could always be sharper. I mean, I know we had, an error on, Sunday night. We had, one Friday night. So it's 8 over the course of a weekend is not ideal. Thankfully, it didn't come back to bite us, but
Right.
we have to continue to just, you know, be present in the moment, but also not try to
Mhm.
make a play just to make it, make the big moment bigger than itself, I should say. Just, you have to kind of just be grounded. And I think, and Roger, you can probably talk to this, but it definitely seemed like throughout the weekend and probably through this week up to this point that the team's probably very grateful to be playing together. I mean, it's very apparent that, a lot of teams, whether like Drew said, Florida State, I'm looking at all the regionals. There's a bunch of regionals where, Southern Miss, they came out, they lost, A&M lost. I mean, a bunch of teams that, of course, if I was doing John Chumbler's bracket challenge, I would be absolutely toast because this is way more upsets than I would have originally picked. So I don't think that it's probably lost on the boys that
Mhm.
it's special to do this. It's very
Yes.
special to do it here. That no one's, we haven't been this close, especially at home in 20 years. So I think that that's definitely come through on the interviews that the players have given. So yeah, I think it's just really special. So they just need to continue to kind of stay the course, play intense, but not, play out in front of their skis. And
Please, yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, Roger.
I was thinking today when I was looking out at practice, looking around, that we have 3 guys involved with the program that actually have been involved with winning World Series. Brady Neal at LSU, Garrett Wood at Ole Miss, and Mike Morrison at Coastal.
Yes, sir.
And, and a lot of teams probably can't say that I mean, particularly at this series, you don't have a lot of teams that have won it. The usual suspects bowed out like LSU and Vanderbilt and some of those even before we started the tournament. So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that makes,
All eight of the Omaha teams from last year are out, right? All
you
eight.
know,
Mhm.
and so, it's good to have that experience of people that have been there that they can lean on for just, just a little bit of reassurance and just what you're going to be looking for and that kind of things.
Mhm.
To what it takes to get there and what happens when you do get there.
Yeah. Drew, any concern with, and again, St. John's may not be the, power hitting team or capable of pounding the ball out of the park the way those Oklahoma State guys were, or Ole Miss is going down to Auburn. The weather's warmed up. There was an inordinate amount, I mean, an unusually high amount of home runs hit across the 16 regionals. I heard the number today. It was crazy. It was
Yeah.
160, 160. It was out. Basically, if you think about it, there's 16 regionals. There's 6 games per regional, and maybe one more if so you're talking, call it 100 games, and I mean damn near two home runs a game on average, and I mean, and that's including these 4 seeds and some of these 3 seeds that just got the format with them. Any concern? I mean, warming up again over there this weekend. We've shown a tendency to
Mhm.
give up a gopher ball or two. Does that concern you?
Uh, you know, I think the only thing that would concern me about the weekend is if St. John's goes out and puts up like a 4 spot in the first inning, and if we just prevent that from happening, you got to start strong in these games, and we did, I think, in all 3 of them. So we're gonna hit some too. I feel like Eric Hines has got some more in him at home. I feel like LeBron's got another 1 or 2 of them. Here. I think somebody else will. So they beat Florida State. I believe it was 5-4 on Monday. 4 of those
Yes.
came on a grand slam. So, that's one swing. I mean, we're pretty good at keeping teams off the base if we play clean. So, I feel like we're gonna play clean this weekend, and I'm not too worried. They'll probably get 2 solos, maybe 2 solos off of Faye over about 7 innings because
Mhm.
he's given up 20 of them this year. Hopefully, he won't give up any, but that's kind of the trends that he's
uh,
probably give up 1 or 2, but hopefully they're just solo shots. And
yeah. um,
He finally had a walk in front of one of them. His
uh,
only
yeah.
walk of the game. They follow with the home run.
yeah.
St. John's only has 54 home runs as a team.
Hmm.
That's good. Yeah.
So
Going back, you mentioned Evan Chafee, and he threw the middle game of the weekend, so he threw the Northern Illinois game, which probably no one saw. Because the other games going on, it just wouldn't have been as high profile for us. Threw 5 1/3 innings. gave up 5 hits, 5 earned runs. He walked 4, but he struck out 9. So we'll power there. He went 106 pitches deep before yielding way to the bullpen in the 6th inning. They threw a lot of guys, a lot of bullpen guys. Any concern, Griff, with our pen? In a rough night the other night for Ashton Crowther. You went way too, or I don't say way too long. You went way longer than you would have normally gone with a Hagen Banks. Heiberger did his thing Friday night. You didn't see him again, but bullpen depth or with a shortened series, you feel okay with that?
I feel better with it. I don't know about you guys. I'm still surprised that, and maybe we didn't need him, but I was still surprised no JT Blackwood. I thought maybe at one point we would see him even just through an inning or two. I know that I believe, Friday night we emptied the bullpen. There were a bunch of guys.
Mhm.
Sarna, glad to see him pitch.
Mhm.
Tate, glad to see him pitch. But again, I'm just curious, and maybe that's maybe there's a reason he's not pitching that we just don't know about. But yeah, I we gave up quite a few homers to Oklahoma State. Thankfully, all but one of them were a solo shot. So not
Right.
saying I endorse any additional home run balls. I would like to all the balls be for the Red Storm to be in the park. But if we are going to give something up, just try to, we need to limit those. Because as Drew said, if they only put up 5 runs and 4 were on a grand slam and that's how they won a game, clearly tells me enough about their pitching that they can do it. But I going with only 3 games this weekend, obviously Friday night was the blowout. We didn't have to burn, everyone and, we obviously didn't have to play a game 5 or 6 or 7. So,
That's right.
Staying healthy. The guys that got innings, avoided complete disaster. So, I think that we can keep it in the park.
Yeah. Roger, major advantage, Alabama, SEC, 30 game grind. You've had, you look at who's still left in the super regionals. Ole Miss, who you took 2 out of 3 of, Oklahoma, who you took 2 out of 3 of from, Texas, who you took 1 out of 3 of, Auburn, who we have repeated, we swept that ass. So I think I added it up, and then of course, and we split with Troy. I'm leaving someone out. I think we were something like 10-3 against the teams remaining. I'd have to go back and look it up. Big East. Let's talk Big East baseball. This is a hoops conference. It's just like we're a football conference. If we had St. John's broadcasters on here, they'd probably be talking football with us. But there are 8 teams in the conference. It's the same 11 that play basketball, but you don't have Marquette, you don't have Providence, and there's one other that doesn't that as I look at those names, it just escapes me who it would be. But there are 11 in the Big East in basketball. St. John's went 15-6. UConn went 15-6. UConn has made some noise in the regionals and supers before. Xavier went 15-6. We've seen them at the Joe in the early parts of the year. And then you got Creighton, Georgetown, Butler, Villanova, Seton Hall kind of bringing up the rear. And it was kind of top heavy conference. There were 3 teams tied at the top at 15-6. Probably not the worst RPI conference in the country. You probably get into SWAC and some of the Patriot and some of those others that are smaller. But the grind of a Big East schedule, where they play 21 games. I guess you play you play them all one time at 3 games compared to SEC schedule. Do you think there's anybody facing an SEC team this weekend, and it comes down to a 3-game schedule, my best against your best, advantage SEC generally, right?
Should be, yes. And it's, conference wise, it's a shame that we have 2 in-conference matchups, but that's going to happen. That who would have thought that some teams that won their regional would, i.e. St. John's, but
yes.
Big East grind is probably not equivalent to the SEC grind by any means. Going to what'd you say, Bucknell or
well, the Bucknell's in the Patriot League. They play guys from our midshipmen.
But yeah, going there or wherever you said is not quite the same as going to Austin or Nashville or some of those places, Athens or not that we went to all those places, but it's just you stack week after week in the SEC. It's like a super regional every weekend.
Yeah. One thing of note with them, and again, you know, we know this from the Midwest teams, the Northeast teams, and so you know, Georgia can't get outside for
Mhm.
for one thing. They certainly can't play home games for a while. First home game I see here was on. They played the University of Albany on March 6th. I mean, we're talking, you know, what, almost 3 weeks into the season. Um, they went to Kentucky probably a weekend or two before we did, and got swept, but lost a 3-1 game, a 3-0 game, and a 3-1 game. So I mean, this
Mhm.
that's indicative of a team that maybe can pitch a little.
Seems like it. I think it's going to be tough. We just got to make sure we're putting together some good at bats. But I mean, we saw really good arms all year long, and then we saw a couple against Oklahoma State. I think Oklahoma State started their closer, and he pitched four, maybe into the fifth inning,
Yeah.
in his longest of the year, and he had pitched 25 the day before. And then we saw their ace who had pitched on Friday, the big 6'6" lefty, who's kind of like that guy from Arkansas.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think whatever they have, I don't know what they have. I mean, I just they competed well at Florida State. They're going to compete well, but as far as raw talent, I mean, we've
Hmm.
we've we've seen a lot better most every weekend than what they have, I would imagine.
Looking
Right.
at the
I figured you.
stats, it's obviously SEC, ACC are the top two RPIs, and Big East is in the middle. So you kind of you get what you expect out of it. I mean, they did have a midseason win against Rutgers, which Rutgers is not a powerhouse Big Ten
Big
baseball
Ten team.
team. But they won their last three series in the Big East. They've been on a heater since the end of the season. They obviously won the tournament, and
Mhm.
they controlled
Yeah.
court in Tallahassee. So they're definitely going to put up a fight.
Right. To win their tournament, which was in Ohio. I don't know whose stadium that would have been. Mason, Ohio.
Is
Uh, it,
are they playing? Is it Xavier from Cincinnati or the other Xavier
yeah, Xavier
that's in there?
Cincinnati. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
so there you go.
Yeah, they played they beat Creighton 4-2. They beat Xavier 17-6, and then beat Creighton again 5-3 to sweep through their tournament. So, a little bit battle tested. I mean, yeah, you got 2 wins over Florida State. You lost 3 at Kentucky. They went to Arizona State early in the year, played 3. So they've tested themselves fairly regularly. Um, again, it feels like a situation where you can't worry about the team on the other side. There's enough to worry about under Crimson, when you're putting up 6 errors, when you've hit 240 as a team. I mean, mind you, you're outside of the comfort, the discomfort zone of facing SEC pitching here, and the fact that we're getting to potentially have a 5 game run through the regionals and super regionals, and only really having to face Power Five, one Power Five team, or Power Four team as they are now, is pretty remarkable. Maybe a stroke of luck. Maybe you're just they were just saying that to piss off Auburn, who's got to play Ole Miss this weekend, or State, who's got to go to Georgia. But that's just the way the thing lines up. I mean, if Florida State had taken care of business, this is a whole different weekend.
Baseball gods just lined it up. I mean, it's unreal. Just as we said while we were at the park on Friday, 5 games to Omaha, 5 wins to Omaha, and now we're down to 2 wins to Omaha, and it's just you look at the way the season went. There was definitely times during that several month time frame where we sure didn't think we would be saying that. We knew we had a good squad, a good team, and if things, when things are going well, that we can beat anybody. But we just had some episodes where, we weren't playing well enough to beat anybody. So it's just been such an up and down thing, and it's good to finish like this with these teams, and you get there, and then you never know what's going to happen. Like Ole Miss being the last team in and winning, and
Yeah.
Coastal winning it a few years ago before anybody knew who they were.
Mhm.
It's just going. It's right there, right there.
Murray State getting in, right? Murray State getting in, Oral Roberts getting in. I mean, it's just
And you're going to have either Troy or Little Rock make
yeah,
it. I mean, that's
exactly.
the fact that they're matched up, like not playing somebody
Mhm.
out of 18, 8 super regionals. 3 of them are being played in the state of Alabama.
Yeah, yeah. Drew, the format. Let's talk format because we consume a lot of baseball media, probably more than most. A lot of people new to this probably, or just don't realize it every year. They say the same damn thing about it every year. Um, the super regional format with full double elimination on a weekend where you potentially like take Auburn's situation. You got to win. They had to go through a 5-game weekend from Friday. I guess that was it. Well, they did the Friday. Yeah, they did Friday early. They went Friday early into late Monday. Some teams might go Friday night into even early Monday. Had to go through a 5-game grind, and you've got this whole silly thing with the team that earned the higher seed is not the home team at all times. Do you like it? I mean, I don't think this is changing, but a lot of people are opining on it and kind of bloviating about it. What's your thought about the format? What would be better if you don't like it?
Oh, I love the 14 format. I really enjoyed it up until 1999 when they had 6 teams in each regional, but they had it set up to where, I guess I don't think anybody would play more than 5 games, maybe. I think the 4-team regional is great. If you want to complain about, if you want, like Butch Thompson was complaining yesterday about his pitching staff, and they have one of the deeper high end pitching staffs we see. If you want to complain about that, you got to do a better job of developing your pitchers. I mean, yeah, it would have been probably a problem for us if we had lost one of those, even one of those three
Absolutely.
games. I mean, that's kind of just how we're built. We just haven't had really many more. We wish we could have had more arms step up and be counted on, but
Mhm.
just didn't work out. But we won all 3 games that we played, so it wasn't an issue. So really, when people talk about, well, JJ hasn't developed bullpen depth or whatever, that really only matters one weekend of the year, and
Yeah,
that's
right.
this past weekend.
Yeah,
If
you
you
don't
get
need a
to
fifth starter.
no, if you
Fifth
get to the
starter.
College World Series, yeah, you're going to have problems because it's all compacted in a week. If
Mhm.
you get to the College World Series, you had a hell of a season no matter what. So
Right.
I love the format. I think it's I wish they reseeded the College World Series, to be honest with you. But at the regional level, that's just kind of how it is. It's a bracket. So I like it. It's a lot of fun. It's fun to see these matchups. I love seeing Troy and Little Rock play. Covered Troy for '05 to 2012, and it's a lot different. Man, that's going to be a madhouse over there. I would love to see
Be
a
fun.
game over there again. I can't wait to watch it on TV.
Jump in, Roger. You
Um, the format's fine, great, the 16-4 with 4 teams at each, but you work all season to earn a right to host, and then
Mhm.
a particularly extra hard to be a national top 8 seed. And then in our case, you play 3 games and you're the visitor in 2 of them. I
Yeah.
don't, I would say this if we're on the road too. I mean, I don't think any road team should ever be a home team in a regional when you have the top seed
Mhm.
still playing. The
Yeah.
top should always be, just do it by seed. I mean, if it ends up being the 3 and the 4 playing in the final game to go, the 3 should be the home team regardless.
Mhm.
I can't figure out how. I guess, because Oklahoma State was the visitor in the game they played right before us, we flipped to visit. I mean,
Mhm.
that what was the point in us earning the right to host
Hmm.
if you're not truly the home team? If Brady's home run had been a walk off, just think how electric that would
Yeah.
Hmm.
have been.
Mhm.
Instead of a top of the ninth, and then you got to hold on.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Griff, I don't know if you. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I had a Twitter user at used to be Jeff, who might be the biggest blowhard we've dealt with on the internet, arguing with me about that. And he's like, "Well, these are the rules," and I was basically, "I don't care what the rules are. How do you feel about them?"
Yeah.
Well, kiddo, here's the rules. And so that's just,
Uh,
that there's about that was a big talking point by a lot of people. And I think 99% of the people feel exactly the way
mhm.
Roger feels, just like that. Probably like all 4 of us do, but there's always one or, well, not how it is or whatever. So,
Right. Right. A little contrarian here. No, I totally agree that the home team that thing is just bullshit. The only thing I might could see is if say we had lost a game and then we're in that night game as facing the team that's unbeaten. Maybe you give them an advantage, even if that you had to come out of like Auburn on Sunday night against Milwaukee. Maybe you make Auburn the visitor just because they have Milwaukee and lost a game. They've kind of earned it that weekend, one way or the other. But the format and Griff, I don't know if you heard Butch's comments, and Butch got Butch's a pitching guy, so the comment he made is you're asking these guys who um, your whole season is geared around a 2 out of 3 week. It's weekends. It's 3 game weekend series. Everything's geared toward winning 2 out of 3 on a weekend, and then you get to this regional format, and it's all geared toward just like a travel ball tournament. These when they're 15, and you're asking these pitchers to do things you haven't even considered doing with them early in the year. Any thoughts on that? I mean, you feel I see his point. I don't know how you fix it, or if anyone would have the gumption to want to fix it.
Yeah, I think that's probably the thing is that who's going to be the one to step up to have the overwhelming majority to switch how the current format is. I mean, I this weekend, the jamboree that we had, the 3 games, it felt a lot like a Frisco or a Round Rock where it doesn't.
Mhm.
I mean, yes, we should be the home team, but it's kind of like we're making it up to, I don't know if we're just sharing the love. Okay, Upstate, you get to be the home team, and now Oklahoma State, you won again, you get to be the home team. But like, oh, by the way, we also just won too, so why aren't we the home team for our
Right,
regional
right.
championship? Yeah, it's a mess, but I don't see it changing anytime soon, and unless there's something,
Mhm.
I can't even think of a catastrophic sort of disaster from it not happening. I think to underscore Jeff or whoever that guy is, that's the most knucklehead on the internet. It is what it is, but like it doesn't mean that it doesn't suck. So,
Really, Butch did not come forward with any.
Yeah.
exactly.
Mm.
Mhm.
I heard Butch was on Mac and Cube this morning, and
Mhm.
man, I mean, I like that guy so much. I wish he
Yeah.
would go somewhere. I mean, like, I was going to text Cole and say, "Man, Butch is great. I wish he would go get a job somewhere else so I can like him." I mean, he was really really good this morning, just in talking about just the way you handle. It was very enlightening conversation. I learned a lot from listening to it.
Yeah, the thing I picked up, I called it on my drive in this morning, and or a good bit of it. Um, it was interesting. Did you catch this when he was talking about the kind of the development of the team? He went to the World Series in 19. He went in 22, and then 25 last year. I mean, they're really on schedule. I mean, it was kind of a
Mm.
big deal that they lost that super, and it was excuse me, a little bit of a reset. You got all these young guys and the pitching, to come back this year and to come back strong like it is. But he said something about, in your mind, you're very process oriented, but you probably figure, yeah, maybe we get to Omaha once every 3 years. I mean, it's a kind of a grounded in reality thing. And I think more so than anything, it's like I said earlier, the 8 teams that went to Omaha
Or-
this last year are sitting at home. They're fishing in the portal, and some of them didn't get close. I mean, they didn't make the postseason. It's a tough thing, and that's we'll segue here. The state of the Alabama program now, 23, 24, 25, 26. You've gone to regionals. You've won 2 regionals. You're hosting a super in the 4th year of that. You did go through a coaching change, but you have the consistency of JJ there in the back end of 23 and carrying forward. Drew, the state of this program, and I mean, again, everything involved in getting to where you are, like Rob says a lot, is what is the journey is kind of what makes you who you are, right? All your life experiences are make you what you are when you're 50 years old. Um, you talk about the state of the program, and now that you kind of look back and you catch your breath and you look where you are on this little pedestal here going into this weekend, it's a pretty nice little 4-year run of consistency that a lot of teams around the country who might have reached higher
Mhm.
heights have have hit a lot lower lows.
Yeah, I mean, postseason's always kind of a crapshoot, and especially in college baseball, when it's really, you know, you could be facing Paul Skeens, but you get a few things that go your way, a few balls off the bat that goes through someone's legs. Football, basketball, you probably kind of know who's going to win.
Right.
Softball, especially, you got one pitcher who can dominate. But man, baseball, that's the beauty and the heartbreak of it is all is you really just you might have a deal where the number one, the number two overall seeds get beat in their own home regional. So, yeah, I think we're in a position where our coaching staff, athletic department, athletic director, have put us in a place to succeed. Maybe not, maybe we don't have the biggest NIL budgets, but it seems like we have the right leadership at charge to where, I listened to Rob Vaughn's interviews on the next round and on Mac and Cube. He's pretty good at identifying the kind of guys they need in the program and trying to, saying, hey, just because a superstar went into the transfer portal, they could still be bad for your team chemistry. So I think they're bringing in the right apples, and you know, what we think after game one is which we thought we might go 10-45 or whatever after we lost that season opening game. Uh, we're as long as Rob Vaughn is here, we're going to be in position to compete. I
Mhm.
believe for no worse than a 2 seed. SEC is tough. It's tough. Things
Yeah,
can happen,
exactly.
but I feel like we're going to be in regional contention every year, and then have a few special years along the way.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like you say, the SEC is so tough. You might be better next year and win 17 games or 16 games in the turn, and end up being a two. It just is what it is. It's just the way you don't have as many one-run games that you win. Roger, you're as closer than anyone to the program. State of the program going on the eve of Super Regional for the first time to Joe since 2006.
Just really in good hands, and doing things the right way. And like you guys were just saying, if, as long as Rob's here, which I feel like it's going to be a long time, I don't see him going anywhere. We will always be the kind of team that can be gritty and gutty, and can reach a regional even if it's not pretty. But like I think you said a couple of weeks ago on here, it's like when like Vanderbilt and LSU's streak gets broken, it's like here we are at 4 in a row. I mean, that's not anything to sneeze at. It's like, and we could have a bump in the road next year. We're losing a lot of guys. Say something, couple of have injuries again, but you don't have older guys to make up for losing who you lose. Maybe we don't win 18 games. Maybe we win 14, and like we're on the edge of getting in. But then again, we could just keep building and building with all those young pups are going to be a little bit older pups next year. And as long as we hold on to all of them, fill in with the new class that's coming in, and then, be particular in the portal, fill needs, get some guys back that didn't get to play this year. Let's stack it. Let's keep doing it, and keep rolling with regionals. I don't see any 8-22s or 10 and 20s coming up anytime soon.
Yeah. And I mean, think about it. I mean, think of the seasons Mississippi State had after winning at Omaha, what Ole Miss had for a couple of years after winning at Omaha. Auburn had a real bad year 2 years ago, right? I mean, it happens, man. LSU had a terrible year this year after, winning 2 of the last 3 national championships. So the mindset has got to be different in college baseball. It's a different game. You can't, Nate Oates can go out there tomorrow, or after every season, go pull 3 or 4 guys in. I mean, you just rebuild the team. The team is gone. You got 3 guys coming back. You go get 4 or 5 guys, and you're right back where you were. It's just the nature of that business. Baseball's a little different. It's just different. I mean, everybody's competing for these guys. A Little Rock can pop up and beat you 2 out of 3 on a weekend. A St. John's can certainly beat you 2 out of 3 on a weekend. The talent is spread out over so many programs. And your ability to just sustain at that high level is probably going to be, impacted over time. So enjoy. I guess our point to everybody: enjoy the ride, because you're here hosting a Super Regional this weekend. Hopefully, it in 20 years before we do it again, but it might be. You don't know. Yeah, Griff, state your thoughts on the state of this program.
It's everything you guys have said. It's in great hands. I mean, it's not an accident that Rob Vaughn's now been to 6 straight regionals, 3 with us and 3 at Maryland. I mean, he's built winners. That's obviously still the case here. And to your point, there's always going to be changes. Kids are going to hop in the portal and leave. But I mean, probably between this and softball, it's probably the hardest postseason gauntlet to just run through at the level, because you have the most games. And the consistency of having to turn around and for a regional and a super, and then if good fortunes has us going to Omaha, you play a lot. So there's a lot of just moving parts. I mean, nobody had, I had us winning, but I didn't see Johnny Lem with the finger and Brady Neal's
Yeah.
popping his thumb in. I mean, there's so many
Right.
unknowns that most likely don't happen in a lot of other sports. So,
You probably didn't see Hagan Banks having to throw 4 innings on Sunday night and go 60 something pitches. You just
Yeah.
hit. Yeah.
Well, and talk to all of that we just said, you know, everybody's riding high right now. Like all the people that jumped off in the middle of the year, jumped back on. Say we do have a year where we
Mhm.
don't make a regional or a 2 or 3 seed somewhere. It's like fans just don't need to be idiots. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, Auburn did not panic when Butch went. They did go 8-22, didn't they, that year when they were so bad?
Yeah. I think it was
I
eight. It
mean,
was 7
after
or 8.
and I think they had just been to the World Series, and you
Yeah.
know, and he just kept his head down, kept working,
Mhm.
kept things going, and
Right.
they're of course their fans were pretty down after that Friday night Milwaukee beat down online. That was pretty sweet reading a lot of that
Yeah.
stuff. But
I've even had to remind some Auburn fans. It's like Butch is the best coach on your campus, and second probably isn't close at this point.
Hmm.
Maybe the golf coach. I don't know if they won today, but
Yeah,
the
they did. They did.
the horse coach is pretty
the
good.
horse coach. Yeah, I guess is that did they? So was that the championship today for golf? So I
Yeah.
mean, they won that twice. I mean, maybe the golf coach, but Butch is by far to me the best. Second might be a little close. But again, you kind of go back to you've got to things have got to fall your way. What if? Let's do some hypothetical. What if Tyler Fay and Zane Adams had sent the
John,
signals out? Hey, let's go draft. What if they'd have taken 15th round money or whatever? They can make it known they want to go. What if you didn't have those two guys? Where would this team have been without its Friday and Saturday night guys? You're probably fishing around the portal. You're trying to throw a young guy out there. You are 7-23 at that. You're South Carolina this year. It's something that simple can do it. I mean, you had you didn't have any injuries. Your pitching staff, you certainly had in your outfield, but you had depth and you had young guys come along. What if Upchurch after that first or second SEC start had just it lost it mentally? What if he couldn't find it? Who's your third starter at that point? It's there's a lot of things got to fall in place to get to this point, and it doesn't
what if we
matter.
lose a bunch of those one-run games, and all of a sudden we're looking at
Yes.
6-8 in those one-run games, opposed to going the other way around. So it's to your point, we have to be grateful for everything that has happened to put us in a spot to win.
and Paul, and on top of that, we've thought that all year. Like, what if Tyler and Zane had signed? What if Brady had gone ahead and signed a free agent deal? I mean, he was kind of just like okay, you can come back. We got, we went and got Johnny Lim out of the portal. We'll see how much you catch. Remember the first year he was not playing every day.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, he's just turned into, he
was here.
Fantastic season. Justin LeBron could have left either of the 2 years for a lot of money anywhere, and he didn't. So we're looking at a lot better, different construction of a team if just a couple of things had gone the other way. Over the last couple of years.
Yeah. A few words about Rob Vaughn, because I mean, again, you talked about it again. I think the fact that again, you're all the noise around college football and now that basketball is so good around the state, the Auburn's been really good. Alabama's had a lot of success. Football is king. All of a sudden this week, Rob Vaughn gets a lot of attention, or Butch Thompson. Baseball's kind of getting a lot of attention because there's so much going. Troy Schuyler, is getting a lot of attention. All of a sudden, people get to realize, damn, this. So we're in an old chat group, and somebody's like, man, it looks like Greg Byrne hired to hit a home run on the baseball coach. Somebody probably hadn't paid attention to our baseball program at all. But I think maybe Drew, the country's maybe getting maybe not a great thing for us because the rest of the country is getting but I think Rob's the kind of guy that probably views Alabama as, hey, you can win here, and I'm happy here, I can win here. We're probably going to take pretty damn good care of him at this point. I mean, there's not too many coaching jobs that are going to you're not going to see the same acceleration in the baseball coaching salaries that you've seen in football and that sort of thing where you get to that kind of crazy money. But Drew, talk a little bit about Rob and what you're seeing. I mean, what you think as somebody who watches this a lot, what maybe the novices just now jumping in or getting a exposure to.
Yeah, I think Rob Bond believes in the product that he puts out on the field, and believes in his program wholeheartedly, and you can kind of tell that when you hear him speaking in any kind of press setting or on a preseason Weekly Joe podcast or something like that. And I really think, you're going to have guys like Kendall Rogers link him to every major job opening whenever there is one. Don't know what else there's going to be after this year. I'm sure early at Texas A&M could get let go in a year or two or three. But that just kind of says what it is. It seems like he's happy here, and he feels like this is a place he can be a good husband and father and raise his family. That's what he said on one of those interviews he did this week, and I think we've heard that before. So I really believe that if we make the World Series, the Men's College World Series this year, it's going to pay a lot of dividends, and we're going to get some even better guys. And with the roster limits and stuff like that, or the more scholarships, I mean, hopefully financially we can still get it done and
Mhm.
get the right kind of guys in here. Baseball, I don't think it's as big of a deal as
Mhm.
basketball and football with the divas and their money and their unks and their agents and all that. I think baseball guys just want an opportunity. So,
They just play. Yeah, they just want to get on the field.
yeah, well, I think and there's so many baseball players out there who could come in and fit in right away, like a Johnny Lim type, or who else is here for a year? Holtz had a very
Oh,
he's been impactful. So guys like that. And I think I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of teams we have over the next several
mhm.
years. But we're not done with this one yet.
So for all we talk about Rob, and again, the media appearances he does, and even if it's the local guys or the kind of the podcast circuit, which Nate Oates is extremely good at and always has been. I think it's kind of made a national name for himself, and now Rob is doing. Rob, of course, appeared on our podcast as well. Roger, the unsung hero, or at least from the people who wouldn't know any better, is Jason Jackson.
Yes.
Talk about the impact of JJ and just what
Well,
he's been.
just JJ's demeanor, just the way he carried himself through 2023, really ever since he's been here. And, we get all the naysayers on social media the last 7 years. How long? Six, and I guess 9 years now, six with Bo, and then three. That how horrible he is, and it's like, what do you look? I mean, the pitching has been our
Mhm.
strong suit every year, and he may not have as many guys as other places
Mhm.
do, but he makes do with what he has and figures out how to use them. And yeah, I'd love to have two or three more guys that we could count on, and you could throw them out there more. Maybe if they threw a little more earlier, or maybe whatever. But he knows what he's doing. He's calm and cool. He doesn't get upset over little things. He just the guys respond to him. I mean,
Mhm.
he's putting guys in the league. I mean, he's
Mhm.
getting guys drafted first round every year. He's taking guys that will walk on shortstops and turn them into major league relievers. I mean,
Mhm.
there's just you can't say enough about him, and I hope we can hold on to him, for a long time. And if he ever had the itch to become a head coach and decides to go take a job, I'd wish him nothing but luck. But sure is nice having him here and just having that steady hand. Just a veteran too, like he's a little bit older than Rob, so it's nice to have somebody that's because everybody else on the staff
Mhm.
is very young.
Very young. Yeah. Yeah. Griff, so we cover Rob, we cover JJ. Talk about the role of the athletic department in general. You had some time kind of working close with the athletic department in your years here, but the environment we've created through Greg Byrne with just an emphasis on all sports. I mean, the big three. I mean, if you want to call them the big three, or probably big four at our place, you've got football, basketball, and now baseball and softball are just kind of right up there as carrying us through the spring. Talk about the role and the support that feels like we've got the alignment around this program.
It's definitely there's a vision that I don't think people always may see the bigger picture. I mean, it's easy to say, 6 years ago, the flavor of the moment was we need to build a new basketball arena. We need it right now. Greg was on board with it, and the conversations I had with him the last time, I was in Tuscaloosa for a baseball weekend and saw a bunch of sports, and he was all over the place. He is completely invested across all of our programs, even Roger's least favorite rowing. But they're all there. I mean, he's got all the coaches in place that he believes can truly put out winners on the field. I mean, he wouldn't be flying from Oklahoma City back to Tuscaloosa back again if he didn't actually give a shit. I mean, he wants to see everyone have a winner, and I know he's got those weekly or monthly, all staff meetings where he's got all the coaches together. So I think it's very apparent that he's actively putting everyone in a position to succeed. And I think Rob probably talked about that shortly after he was hired, that he's like, I can go down the hall and, I got Greg Byrne, I've got, Nick Saban, I got Nate Oates, I got all these winners around me. And, he's now that guy. He's a winner that people are going to, look to him for advice, and, they can continue to kind of build the culture of it. So I think it's just a lot easier for people to say, he's an idiot. We need to just fire the whole, athletic department and start from scratch, which I think would put everyone at a disservice. So
Right. What are you going to get? Right.
exactly. Right now, who would be better than Greg Byrne to
Who's
lead?
got a better program? Yeah.
Yeah.
I told Mr. Burns on the field after the game on what was that Sunday, the winning game. I said, you picked the right guy, and he just kind of laughed and said, "Well, blind hog and acorn." I said, "Well, you found a lot of acorns because look down the hall at Nate Oates and then Rob and et cetera." So he's doing a good job. And like we saw him first game.
Yeah.
When we had just seen him on TV the night before in Oklahoma, and I asked him, I said, "You going back?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Then you gonna come back here?" He goes, "No, I'll go ahead and stay." And then we look up and he's back anyway.
He was there.
And then back again. So he couldn't stay away. So he loves going to all around all the sports. I mean, it's incredible. He's very good about going up into the crowd and speaking to people, and that's one of his strengths, I think, is just relating to the common everyday fan, and not just focusing on the big money.
Yeah. All right. Segue into Alabama hosting a super regional, first time since 2006. Drew, quick memories of the 2006 regional and the heartbreak that was, and how to avoid it this time.
Yeah, I was 24, right out of college. I was living and working in Dothan, so I was watching these on TV. I did cover the regional the week before because Troy was in it with Southern Miss and Jacksonville State. But man, I just remember really thought we were going to go to Omaha, but then you look at North Carolina and you see the first thing I remember seeing was Andrew Miller and Daniel Bard was the rotation. I'm like, how are these guys the 13 seed, I guess?
How were they
Yeah,
not?
how are they not? And so,
Yeah.
and then I think the second batter of the game hit a lefty hit a 2-run home run off of Wade LeBlanc, and they did what no one else did to him all year long, just ripped him and knocked him out of the game pretty early, and that was never a game. So then you're like, game two, okay, you got to win it. And Tommy Hunter pitched very well. And he explained the story on the podcast last year when Wells told him to throw a fastball down the middle to Chad Flack because he was going to bunt it. And he didn't hit a home run. And then it was just the Avila home run, Flack homer again. All that in the last 2 innings, I think. It kind of reminds me of the game that we just watched where all the action happened in the last, I guess, 4 innings. So, yeah, it was heartbreaking because we really haven't been that good since. We've had a couple of teams make it to supers, a lot of teams make it to regionals, but that was kind of the team that, because at that point, it had only been 7 years since we had been to Omaha in '99. So I think after that, you kind of really thought, well, it might be a
Felt like
while.
it was
So
time.
yeah, so it's definitely time this year. The two super regionals we had the last couple times in 2010 and 23 were on the road. This one's at home. I know it's a team that swept its regional at Florida State. It's still a 4 seed. It's a team you are expected to beat. So I hope we come out strong and we start hot in both of these games and keep the pedal to the metal.
Yeah, Roger, your memories of 2006, if it's not too soon to talk about it.
It is. Talking about up and down last few minutes of that inning. Another situation where we're the host and we're the visitors. And Avila hits that Oppo home run in the top of the ninth, and we thought, okay, here we're set. We're gonna go. Got Bernard Robert coming out on Sunday for a chance to go to Omaha. And, guys, you got your All-American closer, who ended up being one of the all-time great relief pitchers in MLB history, and Flack comes up and hits that grand slam, and it was just like so deflating. It went from a static, electric atmosphere to just like to dead in no time. And that team was, so much fun and so good. 5 big leaguers, 5 guys that played a long time in the big leagues on that team. And but like Drew said, Andrew Miller went first, Daniel Bard went 8th in the draft. And I mean, but we took care of Bard. We couldn't touch Miller. And that was Wade was 11-1 that year. And that was his only loss. And then lost some of those guys in the draft and just kind of went through the wilderness. Well, we had 2010 team was really good. 2009 was good. So, I mean, there's been some really good teams, and up to 2023, we kind of, like Drew said, kind of faded there. And then here we are with the chance to go for the first time in 27 years, is it?
Yeah. Griff, can we finally bury the ghost of Chad Flack if we can win 2 this weekend?
Absolutely. I think maybe for Roger, it'll still be a sore subject just because of the promise. I mean, that team won the SEC. They were dominant. But I think winning this weekend, and especially doing it at home, can just silence the majority of those. To Drew's point, they are still a 4 seed. They obviously earn their way to make it to this weekend. But we should be taking care of business. If we do that, a lot of these guys, the moments that they had this past weekend, and the moments that are yet to come this weekend, I mean, those moments and memories will be then remembered forever. But, if disaster strikes, Brady Neal's home run is a great memory, but it's like Team USA losing the gold medal game after beating, USSR. It's, you
beat Rochester.
You got to get to Omaha to kind of keep those memories alive in a positive. So
it feels to me like a very symbolic moment. The 2006 happened, like you said, 9 and 10. There were good teams around then, and then we basically just shut down and tore the place down and rebuilt it in 2016. It was kind of it's 10 years ago now. The hope that associated with, hey, we've upgraded the stadium, we've invested all this money into baseball, and it's been kind of a slow ramp up because of the point we were starting from in 16, and then God forbid 17 took a long time to recover from, and now here you are. I mean, you're on the precipice of getting back to Omaha 10 years after you opened that stadium. And where you really were digging out you were the dregs of the SEC for a 5-year run there, right? Yeah. I mean, and so here you are, Roger. You're real involved in that process and have been there every minute of it. A little bit. Reflect on that a little bit for us.
Yeah, 2017 was a 5-year rebuild for somebody that destroyed Mitch was 15-15 in 2016 in SEC. We didn't make a regional at 15-15. Yeah. Lost some midweek games we probably shouldn't have, but still 15-15 in SEC should get you a 2 or 3 somewhere. We 15-12 going into last week. We got swept by Kentucky, but the hiring of Greg Goff was just a colossal mistake, and it just cratered the whole thing. And then, you bring in Bo to try to rebuild that. And he had a couple rough first years, 8 wins and 7 wins the first 2 years in SEC, but winning records overall. Then you get up to, we got to the COVID year and really had what we needed to have that team and go 16-1 before the season's canceled. You had Prelep as best pitcher in the country going. You had Prater, you had Gentry and Prater, and you had some really, really good players. Diodati at his best. So
Our back was really good that year.
Auerbach.
he was tremendous. And then, and just was slowly building up. And that we kind of got caught in the, that was pre-NIL, obviously. We gotten caught in the 11.7. We're getting killed on the 11.7 with not being able to have out of state tuition and not having the lottery. So things have evened out a little bit. Don't know if we would be in this situation now if it was still the way it was. If it was still only thing we had to work with was 11.7, we'd still be struggling some. So, like it or not, this is the NIL transfer portal era has probably helped our program go forward.
Yeah, I agree. And hope for teams like South Carolina, who's going through a coaching change for the second time in 3 years. I mean, you look at it's maybe easier to do it now than it was 6-7 years ago. It took a while for us to come back from, like you said, where the program had cratered. Interestingly, last weekend, 9 of 16, I think I just counted it right. 9 of the 16 seeds, I guess, home teams, won those series. We were kind of guessing at it. Everybody thought more. I don't think anyone was banking on Cal Poly coming out of Los Angeles or Little Rock coming out of Southern Miss. I think some of us thought maybe Jack State would. So, 9 out of 16, so 7, 2, 3, or 4 seeds ended up winning regional. So then it does kind of go back to your point of it. Yeah, maybe it's a little bit easier to do it now. It's been harder for that. You probably didn't see that back, a few years ago if you really went back over time. All right, let's do this before we wrap it tonight. Let's look at these other regionals. Everybody, give me a quick who you got. Morgantown, what a great scene! The Singing a Country Road. I've watched that about a half dozen times. It's really, really cool at the end of that game. That crowd was just into it. West Virginia or Cal Poly. Who knows a damn thing about Cal Poly except for they just won 3 games last weekend. We all expecting Morgantown to carry the Mountaineers there.
Yep.
I have West Virginia.
Yeah, I have West Virginia too.
All right. Intriguing matchup at Troy. Troy and Little Rock. Little Rock has been there now. They took LSU to the mat in the regionals last year. Troy has knocked on the door a number of times, never gotten. I don't think have they made a super. I think they've. I don't think this first time they made a super, but I mean they've made a lot of noise in regionals. Are we looking at? Are we potentially seeing Troy in Omaha?
I think it's.
I have Troy in Omaha.
Yeah, okay. I think it's most likely, if that's I guess the right way to put it. Props to those guys hosting. If you told me a week ago that they were hosting a regional, I would not have believed you for a variety of reasons. But good luck to them, and that probably that guy who's trying to sell us tickets for $50,000.
Roger, as good as a position. Yeah, where Troy is now, this has not been the vintage Troy team. There've been a lot better Troy teams. The 2023 Troy team was better than this team. Surprised to see Troy where they are.
Very surprised, yes. I'm going to go with Little Rock just to be contrarian.
Yeah. This one intrigues me quite a bit. Chapel Hill, North Carolina, who just cruised through last weekend. Southern Cal, though, goes into A&M and went, belt the ass that final game. But that's a team that can sure enough pitch. And man, you get a 2 out of 3 with those guys, where if you beat them the first game, they don't have to come back and win 4. They just got to win 2. That's a team that can pitch. I like Southern Cal in that one. I don't know about y'all.
Drew, what you got?
I would go UNC. They're at home playing the West Coast team. I think I'm going to pick them.
I think Scott Berry at home is UNC's rolling right now. I think that all signs point to them probably taking care of business. It may not be. I would not be surprised to see this go to 3 games, but I think UNC probably goes to Omaha.
Yeah. Roger, your thought on it?
I'll go with you on Southern Cal.
Okay, good. I was going to say, because I'm going to be gloating next week when that one comes through. I feel really good about that happening. Auburn, Ole Miss. Auburn got a scare. All right, let's face it. Auburn got a real scare. Butch did say they're going to adjust the pitching staff, and I guess they kind of have to. The Friday guys can bump back to the third game. They can bump their other two guys up. That doesn't matter. Those two dudes can pitch. Alvarez and Petrovic, I think, are the two. They're gonna go in the first two games. They'll bump Marciano back. Ole Miss, though, I mean, that's a good hitting team. I can't remember if they played earlier in the year. If they did, Auburn would have won 2 out of 3 because they beat everyone 2 out of 3 pretty much. We saw Ole Miss really, can pound the ball. Ray just shoved against us. Hunter Elliott has been there, obviously. So this is a team that can line up and pitch with Auburn, I think. But I think I like Auburn.
I'm go with what I've done all year and pick against Auburn and say
Yeah. I'm going to go Ole Miss as well. I'm trying to see if they've played this year. I just
They
can't
did not.
quite.
No,
They did not.
They did not. Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Griff. All right, Griff. Break the tie or tie it or whatever.
I will. I'll go with the majority. I think the Rebs. I don't know if they've gotten hot, but they've definitely gotten right the past few weeks.
Yeah. Definitely.
I think that they're rolling. Auburn had a lot of extra innings that probably should have been avoided if we're just being frank for Auburn fans. But and I think it's just going to come up to they're going to run out of juice, in my opinion. I think Auburn.
Yeah, Ole Miss goes on the road last week. In Nebraska, and you can argue one way or the other if Nebraska really deserved to be a regional host. I mean, they statistically they earned it, but when it came right down to it, probably didn't. Georgia, Mississippi State, again, these are SEC elimination rounds, and you hate to see that, but can State go into Georgia and Georgia swept them at State earlier in the year, right?
And beat them in a turn. They're 4-0 against them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is any chance in hell State goes into Georgia and doesn't get boat race twice?
You always say it's hard to beat a team 6 times. But I'm gonna go with Georgia, and particularly in that park. I mean, with their bats, and got to give my boy Brock Bennett a little love too. So I'll say Georgia.
Okay, Drew, you got?
I'm going to go Georgia in 3. I know Mississippi State got one of their ace pitchers back, McPherson. I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to the regional. I think they swept through it pretty good.
They did. Both of them cruised through the regional.
Yeah, so I think Georgia's a better team. I mean, I'd picked my original bracket had Georgia beating Florida in the World Series final, Men's College World Series final. So I'm going to stick with Georgia there.
Griff, you got?
Clay is out the first game though.
That's true. Yeah, ejected. Yeah.
I think Georgia. They've got too much. I think it'll also go 3, but I think Brock Bennett will lead them to victory.
All right. All right. I'll take Georgia. I do think it goes 3. Real quick on these last 3 because we got a couple of questions to get to. Texas, Oregon, at Austin. Yep, hook them. We all hooking there.
I'm going to go Oregon. I figure I got to pick one of these off the beaten path type teams to.
Griff, who you got there?
Yeah. Hook 'em horns. They'll.
I'm going to go. I think 3 of us are hookers there. Bama, St. John's. I think we know where this is going. Give me. There's a question that we'll get to in a minute, but who's the key cog for Alabama this weekend, Drew?
I'm going to go Tyler Fay. We got to have a strong start in game 1. That sets the tone for everything, and I feel like he's going to give us 7 to 8 solid.
Yeah, Roger, who's your key cog pick to click per se?
LeBron. Big weekend for Justin.
Okay, Griff, who's yours?
I'll say Bryce Fowler. It's top of the lineup. I mean, if he gets it going like he did, watch out.
Yeah, I'm gonna go bullpen because I think at some point one of these, whether it's I don't know how you go every week and have 5, 6, 7 innings pitched from your starters. I mean, at some point somebody, gets an ingrown toenail or something, right? You get bullpen. Matt Heiberger is going to have a big outing, whichever game he goes into, whether it's game 1 or game 2, probably game 1, maybe behind Fay. Usually Fay chews up 7 innings. Look for Matt Heiberger to do something special this weekend. That's my guy, Matty Ice. Lawrence, Kansas with surprisingly to me, cruised through that regional with Arkansas, Northeastern, Missouri State. Missouri State's a damn good club. And then Oklahoma, who had probably the most dramatic ending, and all of a sudden instead of being just a speed team and a kind of death by 1,000 cuts, just starts pounding the ball out of the park in Atlanta, kind of a small park. Man, is Oklahoma? Are we going to see Oklahoma on the other side of our side of the bracket, or would they be our?
We play their opening opponent.
We play this winter if we got to Omaha. Who you got, Kansas or OU? Is the magic gonna fade at Kansas, Drew?
I'm going to go Kansas. I didn't watch the regional, but I think it's pretty impressive what they did with Arkansas in that regional. So really also impressive with what Oklahoma did, but they went 5 games, I believe. They had to play 5, and I'm going to go Kansas.
Yeah. Roger, who you got there?
I'm going to say Oklahoma, just for no real reason. Kind of got to like them being up there and seeing them in person. I don't know how they match up with Kansas. I haven't watched much of any of Kansas, truthfully.
Mm-hmm.
I know they have a bunch of JUCO, all JUCO guys.
Mm-hmm.
So they're probably a hungry team that's a gritty playing team, because they were never given all the advantages that a lot of people that are in Power 4 conferences are. So
okay. Griff, who you like that one? That one to me is probably the biggest toss up of them all, maybe.
Yeah, I would agree. It's definitely the closest to a 50-50. I watched a little bit of their final game in their regional against Arkansas, and to be down by 4 and then to come back and just put up 8 in the next 2 innings and kind of really seal that one away. They're playing well, and I got a buddy. He said that they were crap when he was there. He never thought that they'd be of any real baseball dominance. So rock chalk. We will see them in Omaha.
I mean, what Oklahoma did to Georgia Tech, though, is just like that kind of helped put me over the top too.
Mm-hmm.
Got arms on arms there too, and then think about it, it's a 2 or 3 weekend, and you got some arms on that Oklahoma club. You got good starters, and you got a couple of guys of relief that could carry you if you need a 4 or 5 inning outing, as we saw when we went there in a very competitive series that weekend. I go Oklahoma there. Questions from our listeners. We have the greatest audience for baseball podcast in the country. Rick Penley, our friend, Alabama Grand Slammer, at Alabama Grand Slammer, are the Pod 5, and they list us, are going to be broadcasting live from Rocco's next week. And what guests are you lining up? Tiffany, Shakira, and Amanda would be a great revisit. I totally agree on that. Who knows if we get there? If you think if somebody got a connection at Rocco's, maybe we could align something up if we could all get over there somehow.
If anybody would, well, we could probably find somebody.
Yeah.
Hunter would be most likely to. Although he was, a child last time we were in Omaha, but.
Here, this wasn't a question, but related to Rocco's. If there was a Jello shot shooting contest between the 4 of us and Megan, our 5th co-host who couldn't be with us tonight, who wins a Jello shot contest between the 5 of us?
It's not me, 100%.
Never had Jello shots. I don't know.
Griff,
I'll go with Drew.
I'll go Drew probably. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really seen Griff getting heavily liquored up. Griff, could you handle a few Jello shots?
I could handle a few. I don't know if I don't know how I would feel after the next morning after say I put up 21 Jello shots like we did against Alabama State. So I'll say Megan just to switch it up. I like to think she can hold her liquor. So
all right. I'm pretty competitive, so I mean I might fight you to the death on this, but we'll see.
No, it depends on if we include Hunter. I would.
Or Kent.
Yeah.
Maybe we could get Kent in on this,
Well,
or
if
or
Kent
John.
was,
Yeah,
Kent will be there. He's not a
I
long
ain't
time.
competing with Kent. They ain't no
Kent,
way.
No,
or maybe
Yeah.
John Young Senior could be
Yeah.
could join us.
That's right. I ain't
JYS.
competing with
I'd put
him.
my money on JYS for
Yeah.
sure.
Here's one. Hey, yo, Rocky. What player do you think will step up / surprise us this weekend? We all kind of picked our guy that we think's going to have a big weekend. Those weren't surprises. Who might, pick me a guy hitting 6 to 9 in the order, or coming out of the pen to stabilize something? Who's going to surprise us? Who gets that double and clears the bases and the sometimes Sunday afternoon to.
Our boy Poppy,
All
Yeah.
Justin
right, good,
Torres.
good. Yeah, who bombed one out of there on Sunday night as well. Griff.
Um, it's been up and down for him, but I'll say like maybe a Luke Vaughn, somebody, he's definitely had
Yeah.
his moments of inconsistency, but he played well this past weekend, so give me Luke.
Yep. Great Friday night, and great make some really nice plays with the glove. Drew, who you got on that?
I'll join Roger and pick Poppy. I think he's gonna have a
Mhm.
very memorable final home series at the Joe.
Yeah, yeah.
In a good way.
I think I will go with maybe like a Brendan Holt. Maybe Holt does something. Rips one down the line, does something cool in the field or something like that. So yeah, and again, these guys have done these things. It's just it should be a big surprise. But all right, we got more. All right, this is a really good one. Tyler Wilcox at Johnny MySpace, who is ever present in right field and probably the biggest fan out there. There are 40,000 students on campus. He's the biggest fan of the 40. Are no liquor night game rules in effect on Sunday? And if so, can I get a pass to break them? We don't know. I don't think our crew knows necessarily the rules of no liquor night games, what qualifies as a no liquor night game. And again, Saturday night, 8:00 at the Joe. Again, TV the TV and streaming mandate when these start. We're almost like a Pac-12 after dark game on Saturday night. So it's a night game. I had to call in the pro, and actually the person who probably conned the phrase of a no liquor night game, Hunter Johnson. Here's his official answer. This is a special circumstance due to the fact this is the first time we haven't hosted a super regional since the Bush since we've hosted a super regional since the Bush administration. And he's talking about George W. Bush, so not HW. It's a no liquor night. It's not a no liquor night game. I sound like I've been to a no liquor night game. It's not a no liquor night game. We need 7,000 drunks at the Joe on Saturday night at 8. All right. I want to remind everyone, we are not an official arm of the University of Alabama, nor do our opinions represent the opinions of the athletic department. But I think he's got a point there. We want people rowdy. There's 8,000 people, whatever ends up being there. You do want them rowdy. By 8:00, you would think they're probably gonna be. What do you think the atmosphere in Tuscaloosa will be like, Roger? Different. I mean, obviously not a football game weekend, but something.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be something that we haven't seen at around the baseball park in a long time. Even more so than the 23 regional, I think. The 2006 Super was pretty electric, and I don't think like Alabama has a tailgate set up or anything, but apparently Innisfree is going to do shuttles back and forth, and they'll have some pregame stuff going on. So they ought to be able to bring in a few hundred really rowdy drunks from there, to help fill the place up. And our group down in the home plate club does their part as far as the liquor's concerned.
Yeah. A lot of standing room tickets, a lot of excess capacity being sold. I don't know how many people will be there. I mean, I don't know even when the place is full and the plaza's full, I don't know what that number is. So it doesn't really matter.
That's 65.
65 with the plaza too.
Everything in the stadium. So
okay.
it sounds like they're going to crowd the plaza even more.
Okay.
And then the place you have to go in the seventh inning to get your gifts.
Yeah,
we're going to fill that up with people for standing around. I was kind of hoping they'd put some bleachers in there with maybe some risers, because it's hard to see over that gate, that fence, when you're as short as I am, if you were standing up there.
Sure.
But it'd be nice to even have them lining that area behind by the playground,
Mhm.
like they do at Troy. Out in
Mhm.
just you're behind the fence, so you're not on the field or anything. Let
Mhm.
people bring folding chairs or stand or
Yeah.
whatever right there.
Mhm. Long day leading up to 8 o'clock, and again, hopefully the bars down the strip or downtown and all, or promoting that if they're smart, they should be. A couple. Here's a serious one. Chris Alexander. Any update on Lim or Steele's injury? Forgot about that. And we didn't talk about get into the details of the game so much, but the inning where so what was that, the 10th or the 11th when Brady hit the home run? 11th.
11th.
Yeah, when he hit the home run, Brady Neal gets on, legging out
Oh,
of.
Peyton.
Oh,
Peyton.
I'm sorry. Peyton Steele gets on, legging out an infield ball that the shortstop kind of mishandled. Um, Kind of pulled up lane, hamstring or something. Is that what we
They
hear?
they kept saying hamstring. Today at practice, John Lim and Robbie Glenn were there, and they kept saying they thought it was his quad.
Mm,
I didn't really see which one it was,
mm,
but he was participating today,
okay.
and seemed to be moving around. I didn't actually see him like run, but he was hitting and doing
Mm,
everything.
yeah, yeah. No
John,
issue. So no issue. Johnny, like you said, Johnny got 3 hits of the weekend. I'm sure that thing isn't worse.
four,
4 hits, yeah. Johnny's. That hand probably it gets a little worse by the day.
it's
So they're probably not doing
pain
much with it.
management thing with him.
Mm, yeah.
And they're going to take it. It looks like they'll probably take it easy with him for a couple of days and,
Mm,
keep doing treatment on it. The swelling is kind of getting better. As mom said, it's changed colors from purple to yellow, I think.
yeah. Yeah.
So,
Mm,
hopefully that means something good.
yeah.
So, he's going to, if they'll put him out there, he's going to play.
He is. Yeah.
I
Uh,
mean, because he's not, and he's probably gonna have another surgery at some point, but
yeah.
he's not gonna let that happen until after the season's over.
Question also is, I assume Brady, based on the last swing, I assume his finger was just fine. Our understanding is he, got knocked out of socket or dislocated. They popped it back in. So, I
Well,
mean,
he threw the guy out after that too. So
yeah.
I think he was fine. And
Yeah.
the adrenaline of that home run will carry him through this weekend.
Exactly. Exactly. Final question, and then we'll wrap this one up. Let me find it. I lost it. Here we go. Yeah, Hayes Flowers. How is the team locking in as to not get Murray Stated or Oral Roberts this year? What Drew? Your thought? I mean, what's different? I mean, you gotta figure these guys. They're so used to going in. Oh man, I gotta go face, Volantis, and I gotta face, I gotta face this Auburn staff. It's different. They facing St. John's, and I mean,
Yeah.
there's in the back of their head, there's something there. What do you think you do to just make sure that doesn't creep in and lead to a disaster?
Yeah, I think Coach Vaughn will have them prepared for that. I had to go on the field after the game. They had pretty much opened it up for anyone who wanted to come down there. Johnny Lim's mom had made a some kind of Australian dessert or something for my wife, who she was with me Saturday. She was not Sunday, so I had to go find her. And I finally did. But I was on the field just kind of meandering around, and they're all happy, but they were certainly not acting like the job was done. And this was before they knew who they might be playing.
Mm-hmm.
So I really think that's kind of the mindset, is that, you know, it's great to win, but you got these 2 rounds at home. You're the favorite. You got to take care of business. So I expect a nice business-like approach this weekend, and I think it's going to be a good one for the Tide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Any thoughts on that, Griff? What you do to avoid the unthinkable?
As Roger said, I think you listen to your coaches that have won in Omaha, that have been there. And then I think I think Rob will have them dialed in. Something that I always remember is that you don't want to be the bridesmaid. This is
Nah.
a great weekend that you do not want to be remembered as that bridesmaid. And I don't think that to Drew's point, I don't think anyone is overlooking it, but I think you just kind of reinforce it that
Mm-hmm.
this is a great accomplishment. The school's happy, your fan base is thrilled, but yeah, we still have work to do, and
Yeah,
we can celebrate.
job's not finished.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Roger, final thoughts from you, based on leading into the weekend. What do you do to avoid a big letdown this weekend?
just go out and have fun, play ball, and
Mhm.
don't overlook anybody. I think the team realizes they can't do that. I mean,
Mhm.
they've lost some games they shouldn't have lost at some point this year, and
Mhm.
then no, and just look and see. I mean, this team St. John's on a roll. They went and beat a good FSU team twice in their own house, so
Mhm.
they can do it. It proved they can play with the Power Four. It's ACC team, so we can't say we just can't go out there and say, hey, we're the SEC. We're gonna beat you. And this team, they have enough flaws where they
Mhm.
know they have to play their best,
Yes, absolutely.
and can't try to coast by anybody, because they'll get stung if they do
Right.
do
Right.
that. So like Drew said, really everything starts with Tife every weekend,
Mhm.
because he gives you that good start, and you get that first one under your belt. Then after that, it's easier to finish it off.
Mhm. Yeah. In closing, let me just say this. Our social media team and the videographers have done an incredible job this year, and probably not more, more so this past weekend, I thought, than
Yeah.
any other weekend. Just some of the creativity they had. There's a video they dropped here in the last, hour and a half that we're recording this 9 o'clock on Wednesday night, of six-ish minute, basically documentary almost on the Oklahoma State game of the night that looks like it's just incredible. It's kind of playing in the background here. The money ball thing on Brady's home run that they
Oh
did. I mean,
yeah.
they've done a fantastic job. I wish I could get all their names and call it out here. Maybe we get it
Well,
next.
Nick is the guy, and he's tremendous.
Uh,
Um,
yeah, they've been fantastic this year, and I thought they really captured the kind of essence of the tournament here. And as I'm looking at this thing, I'm like, I'm ready to get off this so I can go watch it. And I'm sure they'll do a great job this weekend. All right, here we go. This weekend, St. John's coming to the Joe Saturday night, 8 p.m. Hit the bars, do whatever, get your time out. I think they're going to open. They got Roger. We understand the gates will open like an hour and a half early.
6:30 instead of 8 on Saturday.
Yeah, which is very smart. That's something we suggested earlier in the day. So 6:30-ish. Sunday game 2 at 2 p.m. at the Joe. And then to be announced on Monday if we happen to go that far. Hopefully we don't. Folks, we are 18 innings away from Omaha. Let's all be out there and do our part. Obviously we will. Hope to see you all there. Hope to be talking about it next weekend as we preview maybe Alabama's first trip to Omaha since 1999. Let's look forward to it and enjoy the weekend. For Drew Champlin, for Roger Myers, for Griffin Smith, for Megan, who could be with us tonight and was very sorry she couldn't. I'm Paul Graham. We are the Weekly Joe Podcast, and we will see you next time. Thanks for joining us.
Swing it, boys, swing for the fence. Shove it, boys, make 'em miss. Some big league chew and a baseball souvenir. Come on, sing with me now. The Joe is home, sweet home. It's roll, tide, roll. The Joe is home, that's right. Home, sweet home. Hey, look, is that Roll Tide Willie over there? Well, it's Bama Blitz.